Across the state at this moment, think about it. School is ending for the day. Students are being let out of school for the day, but they're at risk of not getting anything to eat until they get back to school the next day. That is a real problem. I just got cold chills when I said that because I'm imagining my 16-year-old if he didn't get anything when he walked in the door, and especially all the sports and other activities. But fortunately, in many cases, the good news is that schools and community partners are making a difference. They're serving a third healthy meal a day through the At-Risk After School Meals program. The program is a vital step towards reimbursable year-round meals. Remember the logo? As discussed earlier today, you heard from Swain County Schools and Gaston County Schools and many other school districts that are already serving. I think we're close to 20 in the state of the school districts that are now serving At-Risk After School Meals program as the sponsor, and many others that are working with other organizations to serve their kids. But we have a long way to go. It's one of the newest programs, but it's also one of the greatest opportunities. So I welcome to the stage Karen Lanez Ruby, who's supervisor from the Nutrition Training and Policy Team at the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. DHHS is the organization that administers the USDA program as part of the Child and Adult Care Food Program. She's going to tell you a little bit more about this, and please bear with us. We thank you so much for hanging in there because this is such a critical part of child nutrition, and the door is wide open.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for hanging in there, and I promise I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible. One of the things that stood out to me during that puppet show was the child that said, they're going to serve supper too. Well, we can serve supper. And through the Child and Adult Care Food Program, after school meals, we can offer a snack or a supper program. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about it before we hear from a couple of the folks out there that are serving the meals. So if you'll just bear with me, I want to tell you a little bit about how our program works. First of all, next slide, we are based on area eligibility. And that means that an at-risk after-school meal site has to be located in the attendance area of a public school that is elementary, middle, or high school that has 50% free or reduced lunch or higher. And I can tell you, of the 115 school districts that we have in North Carolina, there are only 2 school districts that do not have any schools that would qualify. Okay, so consider that. And then right now we have 20 school districts that qualify and are participating of those 115. And my dream would be to have all 113 school districts that can qualify have at-risk after-school meals available for the children, both a snack and a supper meal. We have across the state 52 sponsoring organizations that serve meals at a total of 812 sites across the state. But again, we're only serving meals in just the smallest amount of the state, and I'd love to see this program expand. If we can go to the next slide, please. One of the requirements for the Child and Adult Care Food Program is that the school must, or the site must offer activities, and that is enrichment or education. It can be things like tutoring or an art program or a dance program like you saw here. It can be sports programs, as long as it is open to all students. And next slide. It also has to be after school, okay? And that means that it can be after the school bell rings. We can serve meals on weekends, teacher work days, when there's school vacations, not summer, but in summer we encourage you to participate in summer program, unless it is a year-round school. And there are year-round schools across the state, so if it's a year-round school that we're basing eligibility on, then the meals can be served all year through the at-risk after-school meal program. Next slide. Thank you. The only other thing is that, of course, students have to be school age to participate in the at-risk after-school meal program, and that includes children that are 18 and turn 19 during that school year, as long as they were enrolled in school at the age of 18. And like I said, I'm trying to rush through, but next slide, please. This is just to share with you what the reimbursement rates are, because we reimburse for meals served, and the meals have to follow the USDA CACFP meal pattern. But these are the reimbursement rates for a supper, and supplement means the snack. You can see what the rates are there, and so that can add up pretty good. Can I have a show of hands just in the room? How many of you or your school area is participating in the at-risk after-school meal program? Because I see a couple of people out there. Very good. Well, I would love to see. Can I have those hands up again? Okay. Can I challenge you to next year? Let's double these hands that are showing. I would really, really like to see more participation. That's my goal. Next slide. Okay, for the at-risk after-school meal program, the meal patterns, just to give you an idea, the snack is 2 components, and then a supper would be 5 components. So we're following the My Plate there. It would be 2 of those 5 items for snack, and then, of course, 5 for a supper. Okay, so I've tried to make that extremely quick. If you have any questions, my name is Karen Lane-Ruby. I work for Child and Adult Care Food Program, and I would love to serve supper across the state. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Is Dion here? Oh, right there in the middle. Thank you. Okay, so I get to invite Dion up to talk to you. Dion is with the Boys and Girls Club of the Sandhills, which works with the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina to provide meals in Moore County.
Just 2 minutes is all I'm going to take, okay? So first I want to thank the Food Bank of Central Eastern North Carolina, and certainly to DPI and DHHS. Our organization serves over 1,800 children in Moore County, and we are so thankful to our partnership with them. Can we give them a hand? So we we serve summer meals. We also serve CACFP as well. We have a total of 3 sites. One of our sites is a kids cafe site, and through this program, we've been able to feed all of the 1,800 children that we serve each and every day. And we believe through these hot meals, through our impact report, we believe that over 96% of our high schoolers are going to graduate on time. We also believe that 71% of our children will complete at least a post-secondary education. We also believe that 99% of our teens will get jobs and be employed and become young, productive citizens. And my story, before I go to my seat, is just on yesterday, there was a young man named Jamari that was eating in our kids' cafe. And as he was sitting there eating, I noticed him taking a piece of the meat, wrapping it up, putting it in his pocket. He put the meat in his pocket. I didn't say anything to him. I was waiting till he went to his next activity, and I had an opportunity to talk to him. And I was talking to him. I said, "Why you put that meat in your pocket?" He said, "Because when I get home, I'm not going to have anything to eat because Mom was working late." And so Mom came, and I was talking to Mom, having a conversation with her, and she explained. She said, "Well, Ms. Down, we got food in the house and that kind of thing." I said, "Is there anything that we can help you with additionally?" And she said, "No." She said, "We're going to be fine." Needless to say, found out later on before I left before that night, that this whole time that they was living out in the park across the street in the van. I think she said they've been in there for the last 2 or 3 weeks because they got put out where they was. And so I say to you that what we do, what you all do for the Boys and Girls Club and the kids across this nation is very, very, very important. And I am thankful for the service that you all give. I'm thankful for what you do for our organization. And the mission is no kid gone hungry. And that is our passion, and that is our mission as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dion. The next presenter was on stage earlier receiving one of the North Carolina Child Hunger Hero Awards. Please welcome Sil Ganzo, Executive Director of Our Bridge for Kids in Charlotte. The site is sponsored under the organization of Child Nutrition Program Incorporated.
Hey everyone. First of all, thank you so much for the thoughtful award. I don't think anyone does it for the award, and I am very, very proud. I also want to say that it's a whole team behind it. There's a group of people and the staff at the center that put the food together every single day, so I'm very proud to share the award with them. Also very quickly, Our Bridge for Kids exists to support the education and acculturation of newly arrived and first-generation American children and their families as they, start a new life in the United States. We are based in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we work with 11 different schools, most of them belonging to the Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system. This is our 6th year of programming, and we have welcomed about 500 children so far from all over the world. Thank you. These are our values. We are alerts, our kids are alerts, so you may be too if you live by love, advocate for equity in education, respect your neighbors, and value and embrace diversity. So if you do that, you are also alert. Next one. Our programs, we welcome about 200 kids per year in kindergarten through 7th grade. This year, they represent over 20 different cultures from Southeast Asia, Central and South America, Africa, Middle East. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, there are 187 countries represented. And if you know, there are 195 countries in the world. So that's about 95, 96%. And Charlotte thinks of itself as a big city. It's not that big. It's less than 1 million people living there. It's just amazing that so many countries are represented. It's just fantastic. I really love the diversity in our city. CMS Schools has 24,000 students that are English language learners, so the need is there. Next one. Our staff, we have found that representation matters, so our staff of 26 people, 80% of us are people of color, and half of us are refugee, immigrant, or first generation ourselves. And we're very, very proud of it. We represent 9 countries, and we're able to talk to our parents in 6 different languages every day. Okay, next one. And this is where it happens. So we are so fortunate. We work with Aldersgate, which is a senior living community on the east side of town. We started in a very, very tiny retail space in an area called Plaza Midwood. And Aldersgate had this beautiful building just empty, and they have been looking at what we were doing and the impact that we were having. And they just came one day and said, hey, we have this building, do you want it? It's $1 a year. So I said, yes, we moved in 2017. And you only see the building, but it's located in a campus that is 231 acres of land. That includes a lake and nature trails, and our kids are able to use all of it, which is fantastic. Yeah, we're very, very lucky. We have a curriculum that is designed in-house, and this is some of the things that it includes. You can see the far right picture. We believe in representation, as I said, and all our books and our libraries are representative of the kids and their cultures. We have STEM programming, teamwork, unstructured free play, gardening, Of course, Cooking Club, I'll speak a little bit about Cooking Club in a minute. Arts and technology. There are no worksheets at our after-school program, which is very cool. So we serve full dinners and snacks daily, of course. Our meals are culturally sensitive, made from scratch with locally sourced ingredients. And we can do this with the support of different players, but we will not be able to do this without the CACFP program, which is how we started. We have foundations, different unrestricted grants, and the Jewish Community Center that allow us to expand the quality and the amount of food that the kids get. So our kids have access to fresh fruits and vegetables all along, every day, for as much as they want. And like Sarah said before, I mean, our kids also have a say in what they eat, so waste is minimal. And Unidine Corporation cooks for Aldersgate seniors, and they prepare the food for us every day. And even the ranch is done by scratch every morning. It's pretty cool. These are some examples of the things that we serve at the center. Yeah, we're really proud of it. It's very cool. And Cooking Club, this is, we are able to do this with 21st Century After School Programs grants. It's our most popular club. The kids, because they come from some different countries, are able to share each other's cultures by cooking. And this year we have done Nepali momo, pupusas, Indian samosas, Japanese takoyaki with octopus, Korean rice cakes, Honduran baleadas, fresh pesto with the ingredients from our little garden. We believe in food, it's dignity, and we also believe that food brings people together, that somebody said earlier today, so it's included in every aspect of our program. So we're very thankful and proud to be here today, so thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Sil. And finally, we have Corey Jackson. He's the Director of Nutrition Services for the YMCA of Western North Carolina. And in December, the National No Kid Hungry Office named Corey a 2019 After School Meals National Champion. Oh, there we go.
Skip the stairs to save some time there. Told to keep it to an hour, so we'll do that. But no, Corey Jackson, I'm the Executive Director of Community Health, and I'm really happy to be here and share a little bit about our work. When Tamara asked me to present, she made the comment of just share what makes your program unique. So if you go to the next slide, Andrew. This is, in talking to my team, I think what makes us unique is our philosophy towards after-school meals, as well as summer meals and all the other things we do, in that we do see it as a community health program. So we see feeding kids as like the first step, right? So if you give a kid a meal, you meet that immediate need. Our team is super and hyper-focused on what does it mean to take it to the next step. So what does it mean to meet and create an ecosystem where a kid can thrive, learn, and grow. And our ultimate goal, if you look at my team's mission statement, is to actually see meals go down because they don't need us. So the idea is to look at social determinants of health, wrap around children and their families, and find ways that we can leverage services to truly support families in a long-term, sustainable fashion. If you go to the next slide, Andrew, there we go. So we are a sponsor. We have been a sponsor. That number is actually 34 sites. Next year will be around 47. That's inclusive of 2 weekend meal sites. Yeah, thank you. It's just a big number, I guess. But those 2 weekend sites are really important to us too, because we get to layer some services, which I'll touch on here quick. But similar to some of the other speakers, we've also layered on for the last 7 years a program we've created called Food Explorers. And it's an opportunity for all of those sites, whether it be an after-school site, a weekend meal site, to get touch points with food that they might otherwise not get to. So that we've had a cultural rice day and kind of implemented some of those tools to get kids hands-on and a little messy with food, and again, trying it out in a safe setting. We also do Cooking Matters. I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with that curriculum, but it's through Share Our Strength, a really beautiful curriculum that engages both kids, families. They have a teen curriculum, just one for parents. Really powerful to get kids involved, so we also try to layer that on. So over the course of a school year, not including summer, they have at least 5 or 6 touch points with new food at every one of our 34 sites, which is pretty special. We've also, and I didn't put it on here, but I think that's pretty special, thank you, Andrew, is an opportunity for market bags. So one of the things we've done for the last 6.5 years is a big food distribution network. So we started pairing it with a CSA kind of model where kids and families can request a CSA. So we deliver food to that after-school site, and they get to take it home each week, which is pretty special for the families. And what's cool about that, and we talk about sustainable change, we've actually had site directors share pictures of what recipes we've sent home. So we've sent a market bag home with a family. We'll get a picture on a Monday saying, oh, my family loved this, or even better yet, we tried it. We didn't like the way you guys said it, but we tweaked it, and now we love it. So it's pretty fun to see kids and families exploring with foods together. If you go to the next slide, Andrew. Another thing that makes us really unique is that food distribution. So we've been doing since 2013, and it's an opportunity to reach communities that may not come through a Y, or may, as the speaker highlighted, live in a rural area that they're not centralized. So it's an opportunity for us to go out in the community. If you go to the next slide, we host 32 free, no questions asked markets across our 5-county region. A lot of those are layered onto both summer and at-risk after-school meal sites. So again, opportunity for kids and families to have access to food in a super inclusive way. Last year we distributed 250,000 pounds of produce. Yeah, another bit, yeah, thank you. And I think the other kind of unique piece to all this is the opportunity for us to engage with, again, new communities and bring them to the Y. But then more importantly, if we can't meet a need, we connect them with a partner that does. So whether it be housing, we've got a lot of special partnerships with like Homeward Bound, which is a homeless shelter, rehoming kind of area in Asheville. So we try to do that as much as possible. And then the final thing I'll touch on in the community health lens as we look forward, we're very proud of the fact that we've built on our own nutrition standards. So when you look at what makes our work unique and special is over the last 7 years, we've certainly followed, where's Karen? Karen. We follow all the nutrition standards, but we actually added some on. So any of the food we serve is never 8 grams of sugar or more per serving. Sugar is never in the first 3 ingredients. It has to be a whole grain before we had to do it. And then we also have everything, nothing's pre or deep fried prior to serving. So we've had those, and I think, you know, as we look towards the presentation from the mobile farm truck kind of thing, there we go. The idea of that is really special in that I think you break down the assumptions that kids and families don't want to eat healthy, and when you give them the opportunity and they have the choice and the buy-in to do it, they really do, and they can, yeah, have some really great health outcomes. So I'm going to do a walk-off now and head back to Asheville. Yeah, thank you for having me.
I just want to give a real quick thank you to everyone who does participate in CACFP, and thank you for the speakers that have shared their stories about CACFP. We really appreciate all the hard work that goes into it. And again, I just want to push that I want to see a whole lot more hands next year when we ask who participates in CACFP and provides a snack and a supper after school. Thank you.